Yeah,
and in the evening?
Oshie. More
okay.
like good evening or good night.
Oh, I see. What is Ojimra?
That's the response for Ojeko. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the Ghana I was taught in school, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what they say? Why read the book when the author is here?
You've actually pulled it out of me because you know we hardly greet in our local language,
and that is very, very
It's always
bad.
good morning, good morning, good morning. So
I know, right? But this month, we're making a conscious effort to remind ourselves of our culture, our heritage, and the things that make us Ghanaians.
Which is very important.
So make sure that every day you speak your local language.
I will.
No, meantime, people, Sunny, meantime, people questions few about Doulos Conference. It's okay. That's all I can say. But Reverend, please tell us, what is the Doulos Conference and why is it so important?
Okay, so Doulos is an international gathering of church leaders, and it's been designed to inspire, to equip, and to edify church leaders. Basically, for church leaders and the church at large to embrace the essence of serving Christ as bond servants. And Doulos has become necessary because it seems as though we are in an age where there's a little, we see that we departed a little from what it means to serve Christ and his church. And so Doulos is a call for us to get back to servant leadership and bond servanthood to Christ. So basically that's Doulos is actually a Greek word which means bond servant. Yes, and as a bond servant, the idea of bond servanthood is the idea that you belong to someone. You serve at the pleasure and the need of that person. And so as ministers of God, as a church, we don't serve at our own pleasure and at our own need. We belong to Christ. We serve at and his pleasure. So there's actually what Christ requires of us. And so that is basically what the Doulos Conference is about.
And who are going to be the speakers for this year?
So we have Dr. Sam Chand, who is a church leadership consultant and change strategist. So people have started churches, but sometimes, you want to ask yourself, how do I strategize? How do I systemize my church? The world is going through a lot of changing trends, How do I acclimatize? How do I adjust to the trends and still be relevant and provide the needed direction, the needed leadership to the church? So Dr. Sam Chan will be there to speak to issues like that. We have Pastor Andre Olivier, senior pastor of Rivers Church in South Africa. We have Pastor Sam Adeyemi, who is a leadership expert and also the senior pastor of the Daystar Christian Center in Nigeria. We also have Pastor Rasford Obing, founder and general overseer of the Calvary Charismatic Center, CCC in Kumasi, and of course the host of the conference, Pastor Mensah Otabel, who is the general overseer and the founder of International Central Gospel Church.
I see. And what can attendees expect from the conference in terms of the sessions and activities?
Yes, so we have morning sessions, we have afternoon sessions, and evening sessions. The morning sessions start at 9 in the morning. The afternoon sessions start at 2:30, and the evening sessions start at 6 p.m. And all of these sessions have been packed. We have our seasoned guest speakers, seasoned guest speakers speaking in all of these sessions. So it is going to be quite informative. It's going to be refreshing. Some landmark, practices and teachings that has to do with ministry, which we may have forgotten about, will be brought back to it so that we understand the essence of being a bond servant. When you're a bond servant, is when you have willingly accepted to serve somebody else out of love, and so as a bond servant, you belong to the one you are serving. When you look at the apostles of the New Testament, when they are writing letters to the churches, they always identify themselves as bond servants, not necessarily as apostles. Even as apostles, they understood that as apostles we are sent, not an office or a privilege, but I'm a bond servant of Christ, an apostle of Christ. So we want to come back to that understanding and orientation that if you are called into ministry in any form, you are called as a servant of Christ, and you serve at his pleasure, you serve at his need, you serve at his command, not to please yourself, and not to serve yourself. So basically that's what we are supposed to expect during the Doulos Conference, among many other things.
Yeah, it seems like a great reminder for everyone who has a bond to serve Christ, right?
Definitely.
And so I am, and then definitely it contributes to spiritual growth as well, as well as personal transformation. So how is this conference going to do that? How is this conference going to contribute to spiritual growth and personal transformation?
So let me say this. For instance, when you look at Christian population in the world, we are over 2 billion. When you come to Africa Christian population is somewhere around 700 million. Now, that's a significant number out of the total number of Christians in the world. But the question we need to ask ourselves is, with all that number, with all that clout, what is the substance of Christianity that we have? What leadership are we providing for Christians in Africa, in this generation, across the world? Are we doing something substantive that is bringing transformation in our lives, in our churches, in our societies, in our communities? So we are hoping that this conference is going to bring us back spiritual substance and significance that will point us back to the ancient landmarks that Christ established when he established his church, so that people are not just going to church, but they are going to church and they are receiving transformation, they are receiving leadership, and that people are being pointed to Christ. Then the effect is that it affects everything that we do as a people.
I see. All right. I saw a message over here. Adriana says that, Pastor Edwin.
Oh, that's my wife.
Oh, really? Anyway, she nearly confused me.
Okay.
But yes, so, the info that you've given is very important, but how can people register, and is there an option for virtual participation, that is, if people cannot make it to the conference?
Yes, definitely. So Doulos is actually a free conference because we want to impact as many people as possible, but we actually need people to register. This is because the sessions that we are going to have, we need to plan with the numbers that are coming.
Okay.
So we need people to register so that we can save space and can plan all that is going to happen. So you can register by logging on to www.centralgospel.com/doulos.
Okay.
www.centralgospel.com/doulos. So once you log on to that website, you can register, give us your information, and that's it. Your seat is saved.
Okay. So when is this conference? The time, would like to know.
All right. So Doulos is coming off from the 4th to the 6th of March. That is tomorrow, Tuesday, starting from the morning at 9 a.m. Then, like I mentioned earlier, we have an afternoon session at 2:30 p.m. and then an evening session at 6 p.m. It's the same for Wednesday and Thursday as well, because it's running from 4th to 6th of March. And 6th March is a holiday, so we are expecting people to come in their numbers.
Right? That's great.
Yes,
that's true.
So if there's anywhere for you to be, it's for you to be at Doulos, and it's happening at Christ Temple East of the International Central Gospel Church, Teshi, the Bush Road. You cannot miss it.
Right.
So that is where Doulos is happening. And of course, there's an option for our international participants. There are people who are participating from all over the world. Some people are actually coming in from the African sub-region. Some people are coming from Europe and America. But for those who will not be able to make it in person, there's going to be provision for you to participate online.
Okay.
So just log on to ICGC.Christ on YouTube or Mensa Otabel on Facebook, and you have the Doulos Conference streaming on these platforms.
All right. Thank you very much, Reverend Edwin Ayerh Adjei. Before you go, though, you are having your event from the 4th to the 6th.
Yes.
Right? And on the 21st, Joy FM is embarking on a trip to the Volta region. We call it the Volta Adventure.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm sure as you drive home or back to the office, you would hear me talk about it. But please, it's 3,500 Ghana cedis per person. person. We're going to see lots of places. We're actually lodging at the Volta Serene Hotel.
Okay.
We will go and see the Kpando Lakeview zip line. Have you been to Tafia Tome Monkey Sanctuary?
I haven't.
Hey,
I've been to the Volta region, I think, once or twice, but I've been seeing a lot of things happening in the Volta region.
Okay.
I've always been meaning to go back there.
Then this is the time.
And
Adriana, your wife,
you said it while she
your wife
was
is
listening.
So please, you don't even have to pay more. Give them cash when you go out. Just give me about the cash.
All right,
7,000. You and your wife. Very very says cool chop.
Okay.
So thank you very much for joining us. And
Thank you.
We'll definitely
so
register and be at the Doulos
God bless
Conference.
you. God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Your wife actually texted in right now. She's very happy with lots of dancing emojis. But thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you. Alrighty. So that was Reverend Edwin Ayerh Adjei, a pastor at ICGC True Vine Temple, talking there about Doulos Conference. Please do well to log on and register. Right. Alrighty. Now let me remind you also that this year, in fact, I'm going to be there. Let me say that. Let me proceed with that. Celestial Praise 11, the 11th edition. You see, when grateful hearts unite in spirit-filled worship in an atmosphere saturated with God's glory, there can be only one outcome, and that's God's powerful or God's power unleashed, right? It's Celestial Praise 11, the ultimate worship experience. And the theme for this year's edition is I Do a New Thing. Ministering live from South Africa, we have the Anointed Zaza. From Nigeria, the Firebrand GUC. From Ghana, Pastor Edwin Datson is going to be there. Kwekute is going to be